What's up guys, welcome to the channel. On today's video we're looking at this monster truck from CEN Racing. This is the Annihilator. It's actually a real monster truck. I think the real monster truck is a Ford. This isn't a licensed Ford body, but the Annihilator is an actual monster truck driven by Zach Adams, and it looks awesome. It's 1/10 scale, it's solid axle, it's ready to run, and guess what? It's not actually going to cost you that much either. These are really well priced. So there's a few stats on here. It's got a wheelie bar. It says realistic differential design. Looks like you've got a metal crown there on the diff. 8 oil-filled shocks. It has got 2 shocks per side. They've got alloy caps on them. It's got a 40 amp brushed ESC, deep dish, 2.2-inch monster truck style wheels. The gearbox you can change between like a high torque and a high speed by switching the gear on the gearbox. It says hardened steel drag link, easy access battery tray, lots of functions on the transmitter, ball bearings throughout. Let's stop talking about it and let's get it out of the box. I've seen a lot of people recently trying to be really unique with their unboxings. Me also, I done a few as well. We're just going old school with a knife. It's the easiest way, isn't it? Oh, that one's already off. So in the box you get a transmitter. These are big bulky transmitters. This is the same as the little Fiat that I unboxed. However, someone did mention in the comments, although they're big and bulky, they've got a lot of features on them. You can do all your trim, you can do all your dual rates. They've got a 3rd channel on there. For me, it's just a bit big and bulky, but very functional. Some instructions on how to fit or remove the sway bar. Some preload little clips for your shocks. I don't think it needs them, they feel really stiff. Wheel hex and some Allen keys. Instructions for your transmitter. Parts list for the truck. Safety precautions. Something about the body. And the full instruction manual with a breakdown of every single bit on there. Right, that's the boring bit over. Let's have a closer look at this. Nice monster truck style tyres, feel quite soft as well, so that's pretty good. Plastic rims, so solid axles underneath, metal drive shafts front and rear, metal steering link. The servo sits up on the chassis up there. Can't really see, but there's a link, it goes back there and then it comes forward there for the steering, so that's obviously, I don't know why it's designed like that. I guess it's because it's really high up there, so it has to go through like a little adapter. Plastic links on there, plastic chassis. There's your dual oil shocks. My first thoughts are it's very, very stiff. But I mean, you see monster trucks jumping around and they bounce all over the place, so it's probably pretty realistic, but there might be a need to soften this up a bit. Definitely my preference would be a bit softer. Has got sway bars on there as well. There's your sway bars. Let's get the body off and look underneath. Not much to see under here. It's got I think it's a 12 kilo servo. That is OEM Savox. So it's Savox Servo, Hobbywing 40 amp ESC. Dean's connector on that ESC. Quick release battery compartment. Battery easy to access there. Slot that in, and it's a big battery tray as well. So you got plenty of room in there for a decent sized battery. And overall, it looks like this is going to be good fun. So I guess the proof's in the pudding. Let's charge a battery. Oh, I forgot to say, big 550 motor under there as well. That's a Mabuchi motor under there. Right, let's charge a battery. My neighbours have moved, so they've got a nice empty garden. I'm going to go in the garden, put a few little obstacles up, and just give this thing a little blast around on 2-cell LiPo. I think the gearing is set to the slightly slower speed, but higher torque when it's stock. I think we'll keep it at that rather than the higher speed. It will run 2S and 3S as well, I believe, but we're going to run it 2S. I might charge a 3S and give that a go on this video, I might not. But anyway, let's get the battery charged. Let's see how this thing goes. Let's go have some fun. So this thing is fun. It jumps really well. It jumps really well. It does go really well. It's not the fastest of things, but remember it is set to the lower speeds. It's got a bit more torque, but you can pop wheelies. Sometimes you have to reverse a bit and go forwards, and sometimes if you get some traction, it just pops them. Backflips, ticks that box as well. It's very good at doing backflips, almost too good if you get the right angle on the little ramps. Did have a little issue, as you're going to see in a minute. That jump was fine, then we went back, bang. Now, let's talk about what happened. So initially I thought I'd snap the axle, but when I went to look at it, all it is this had slid off. You see it's splined on the inside. It's got some little ridges on there, and it had just slid off. So I popped it back on and the truck was fine again. Then it came off 2 or 3 more times as we were doing jumps, and it was coming off when I was kind of landing at an angle and it was just pulling it off. It's as tight as it goes. So I think the first jump I might have just damaged some of the splines there that pulled it off and left it loose, and then it kept coming off. The broken steering link, that was all my fault. So at the end of the video you'll see the last jump, this came off and I kept driving it. I drove it, you know, just about probably half a foot more. The wheel pulled back and it snapped that off. That was definitely all my fault. You can get alloy upgrades. You can get alloy C-hubs, you can get alloy like them brackets for the axle, you can get an alloy as well. I've got some replacements coming. Whether that's going to be a problem for the next one, or whether when it was put on in the factory it just wasn't put on correctly, but we shall see. I'll fit the new parts when they get here, and then I'm going to run this thing, put the speed, I think I'm going to change it to the speed gear in, and then I'm going to run it 3S. I'm going to do a speed run and we'll take it on a few more jumps and see how that holds up with a little bit more power and a little bit more height. Anyway, back to the video. Like, it's a very good scale looking 1/10 monster truck. Anyway, enjoy the rest of the video. This is the CEN Racing HL150 Annihilator. I'll see you next time.